Coming up on Mountain News this morning, we'll show you how a small business in Floyd County are planning to deal with new social distancing measures while keeping the economy moving. And as schools, daycares, and restaurants close or reduce their services, some are worried that gyms will be next.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
The time is now 6:33 and my name is Lacey Roberts. Thank you for joining me on Mountain News This Morning. Again, today is St. Patrick's Day and we're all feeling maybe just a little bit lucky, but that rain that's coming and it's going to last the rest of this week makes me feel a little bit unlucky, Brandon. But hopefully there's some sunshine in there somewhere.
If you look real hard this weekend, you might be able to see some. And yes, I did say this weekend.
Oh man, we got to wait that long.
So sick of the rain, but we're going to deal with it for a few more days. Let's take a look and see what's going on across our region this morning. Guess what? It's rain. If you didn't know that, but again, St. Patrick's Day, maybe the green on the radar, maybe a little bit lucky today. So we'll see again the rain coming down across parts of the area, and we're going to see those conditions continue for a while this morning before tapering off this afternoon. Visibility is rough, so if you're heading out on the roads this morning, be extra careful. Anything less than 5 miles, which is basically the entire region, is very dense fog this morning. Temperatures not moving a whole lot right just yet. Once the rain gets out of here, they'll start to creep up slowly, increasing into the mid-50s this afternoon. 45 Ashland, 52 Jacksboro. Everybody that's kind of right there between 49 and 50 for the most part. Temperatures go up to right around 54. The rain should end early this afternoon, and then we'll see some potential for some clearing skies tonight. Not quite sold on it, but the potential is there. We'll talk about the rest of that forecast here in just a little bit. Lacey?
Thank you, Brandon. Kentucky's primary election is delayed by more than 1 month. The governor postponed the election to June 23rd after consulting with the Secretary of State, Michael Adams, who made the announcement in a video posted to Twitter on Monday.
Postponing the primary was not an easy decision, but the Republican Secretary of State and Democratic governor agree, and so do county clerks of both parties, and they are our frontline election administrators. My hope is that this delay will allow us to have a normal election. Even if not, this delay will allow me, the State Board of Elections, and our county clerks time to assess what changes we must make to ensure a successful primary election.
Kentucky law allows elections to be delayed if the Secretary of State and governor agree to do so due to a state of emergency. The election was originally scheduled for May 19th. Again, that date is now set for June 23rd. The Kentucky Democratic Party is delaying planned reorganization efforts because of the COVID-19 pandemic. The reorganization typically takes place every 4 years during a presidential election, and it was set to begin this Saturday with precinct conventions. Now, this doesn't currently affect the process to elect delegates to the Democratic National Convention, and that's scheduled to be held this summer. A meeting for Black-Joel miners in Cumberland will not take place today. Instead, attorney Ned Pillersdorf says he will address everything through Facebook Live, and that is dealing with a settlement for those miners. He hopes to be able to outline what that settlement entails. Currently, the settlement is under judicial seal. And later today, officials in Pike County will take down extra steps that they plan to take, and we expect to learn what offices will close and which will remain open. Officials say they are continuing with Hillbilly Days planning, which is currently scheduled for mid-April. And the Perry County Fiscal Court is announcing that on Facebook that it will go to limited services starting today. WYMT's Dakota Maker has talked with Judge Executive about what this means and if you need assistance at the courthouse.
The Perry County Fiscal Court posted this Facebook post on Monday.
We're doing limited access,
telling community members that they are switching to limited services starting Tuesday.
The courthouse is a public building, and I encourage people to come all the time, but this is something that we've never faced or dealt with.
Perry County Judge Executive Scott Alexander encourages people to call the departments inside the courthouse, giving alternatives such as renewing car tags.
If they can, they need to call ahead. He's doing some ads where they can mail it in now.
Wanting to keep the courthouse staffed.
I'm going to do everything I can so that we maintain a staff here that can answer some of the essentials that the public needs at this time.
Asking that you come to the courthouse if it is a must.
We want you to come here for essential services at this time so that we protect one another.
It is important to know that the courthouse is not shutting down. They are limiting access to keep everyone safe.
We'll do this for as long as needed. We plan on doing it for about a week right now, just to see where we're at with this.
Judge Alexander says public safety is at the top of his mind. In Perry County, Dakota Makris, WYMT Mountain News.
Judge Executive Allender stresses the courthouse is not closing and they are still available if you need them. We have a full list of department numbers on our website at WYMT.com. And as leaders across the Commonwealth work to promote best practices for health safety in the midst of the coronavirus scare, small businesses in Prestonsburg came up with a plan of their own. Every store affiliated with Shop Prestonsburg is now offering curbside pickup to customers who do not want to risk a trip inside and using social media pages to advertise the merchandise so customers do not miss out. One shop owner explains how it will work.
Call in and say, hey, this is what I want. You can pay for it, and then we hand it to you out the back door. You don't even get out of your car.
Live videos and stuff, so you can still shop at home. You can stay home in the comfort of your own home, even if you're sick or not feeling well, or even if you're just not wanting to get out with the pet.
Owners say most stores are staying open for now and they want to do their parts to ease tensions. Some of the stores also offer shipping for their customers. And to keep up with the different stores in the city, we have more information on WYMT.com. As retailers adjust to the coronavirus pandemic, Dollar General is accommodating seniors. The retailer says it will let seniors shop by themselves for the first hour each day. Older adults are at a higher risk of developing complications from COVID-19, and many seniors are on fixed incomes. So this is a safer way to shop at a discount store, and it might be appealing to some of them. Dollar General also says it will change its hours. That new schedule will start today. And there will be no spring meet this year at Keeneland. Yesterday, the track announced the April races were canceled, of course, because of the coronavirus. The last time Keeneland did not hold a racing meet was during World War II from 1943 to 1945. 75 years later, Keeneland is canceling its 2020 spring meet due to concerns surrounding the outbreak of COVID-19. Those who purchase tickets for the spring meet will automatically be issued a full refund. Keeneland will also continue to provide stabling for the horses that are currently on their grounds. A more than 100-year tradition will likely change this year. It appears that the Kentucky Derby will not be on the first Saturday in May. Our sister station in Louisville Wave is reporting the 146th running of the Kentucky Derby will be postponed till September 5th. An official announcement is expected to be made this morning, and according to Wave, this is the first time since 1945 the Run for the Roses will not happen in May. That year, the government issued a ban on horse racing due to World War II. And as the COVID-19 outbreak spreads, could other businesses be forced to close, including gyms? WYMT's Tommy Poole talked to some members at one Hazard facility about that possibility.
The Hazard Pavilion, more than just a place for activities.
I love my job.
It's a way for members to escape.
I used to have severe anxiety, and I was told by doctors and stuff that exercise would help with that, and it has.
And a place for birthday parties. While COVID-19 caused cancellations and people to stay inside, some plans have stayed the same.
We take a risk no matter what we do, whether it's at a gym working out, with the way it is.
That doesn't mean the pavilion and its members aren't taking precautions, though.
In between each workout, I wash my hands and I practice good hygiene myself.
Monday, the city of Hazard met with the pavilion to discuss operations and decided to keep it open.
We are right now, but it is a day-to-day thing. We have to go with the rules and regulations.
Later that evening, Governor Andy Beshear implying that gyms could shut down on Tuesday. But those working out,
I've met a lot of good friends, some people I call my family here. But before I came here, I ran, tracks at the park. I ran concrete. I run roads. I'll do it any way I can, but preferably I enjoy this.
Because at the end of the day, it's not just the members.
I wouldn't get a paycheck, so kind of limit my stuff I can do.
But the workers, young and old, that rely on the income from the pavilion. In Hazard, Tommy Poole, WYMT Mountain News.
And just like many businesses, the pavilion has stations available for patrons to disinfect their hands and equipment. And when Governor Andy Beshear was asked about gyms and theaters yesterday, he said he will address that in his news conference today at 5, which you can see live on WYMT.com. And the coronavirus is hitting close to home for one Clay County native. Cameron Wagers is a 28-year-old English teacher in Anhui, China, outside of Wuhan, China, the epicenter of the outbreak. Wagers made a pre-scheduled trip back to the U.S. in February, and upon arrival back to China was quarantined. 7 days at his apartment and an additional 10 days in a hotel.
They feed you kind of the basic food here in China, which is basically like rice and vegetables and a little meat every day. And I would have to sit a basket out in front of my room when I was at certain times of the day to get food.
Now, the quarantine is precautionary because Cameron has been tested 3 times for the virus, but all tests have come back negative. He is now back at his apartment for an additional 14-day quarantine.
The rain continues to fall on this Tuesday morning, and we're continuing to track it across the area. We're seeing some go through Hazard, heading toward Pikeville, through Harlan, Middlesboro, parts of Southwest Virginia, and more coming into Lake Cumberland from that cells that were out into parts of South Central Kentucky earlier. Lots of folks there below the 5-mile threshold. Pretty much everybody, and some folks like Jackson, Hazard, and now Harlan below the 1-mile threshold. So very dense fog. Be careful. Wet roads and foggy conditions out there this morning. Temperatures in the 40s and 50s. Most spots close to 50 this morning, upper 40s, close to 50, and that's anywhere between 5 and almost 13 degrees warmer than it was this time yesterday morning. Out the door forecast, we are going to see again not a whole lot of increase in temperature today, only into the mid 50s, but the rain chances should give way to cloudy skies by later this afternoon. Lacey.
Thank you, Brandon. And thank you for joining us on Mountain News this morning. Here's a look at what's ahead. Coming up, the Breathitt County Judge Executive Jeff Noble is facing a new list of charges this morning. We'll have the details coming up.